Man, cutting weight in our 40s. I mean, it's hard out there, but it can be done. It can still be done. But it's more important now than ever. I mean, it's almost like it's the final frontier. I mean, if you think about it, how many more chances are you going to get to be in the best shape of your life as you get older? It's not going to get any easier from here. We've already seen how transitioning from 20s to 30s, then from 30s to 40s, how much harder it's gotten. Physically, you can't do the things you did when you was 20. And I'm sure when I'm in my 50s, it'll be the same thing. So how many chances are we going to get? It's like if you're wanting to get in the best shape you ever been in, or back to the shape you were in when you were in your 20s and early 30s, the time is now. Okay. And I think one of the main differences is awareness. Awareness of what we're putting into our bodies, right? And discipline. But the thing about it is, though, in our 40s, we should be more aware of our surroundings and what's going on and more disciplined, because we've been in our field of work for maybe 2 decades by now. We've been married for a decade plus by now. We've got kids, we've got responsibilities, right? So the discipline aspect should be in check. It's not an information problem, because the information is everywhere. I'm not telling anybody anything mind-blowing right now. The information is free. I mean, any kind of diet you want to learn and figure out, you don't even have to buy the book anymore. You just look it up on YouTube. Somebody's made a video about it. There it is. Information is free. So what is it? I really think a lot of us, especially if we were athletes in our 20s, athletes in high school, college, what have you, I think a lot of us still have that in us, to where it's like, well, when you're in your 20s, right, you can damn near do whatever you want. You can eat whatever you want, and you just snap your finger and think about it long enough. You picked up 5 pounds, and you can lose that in a day or two, no problem. And in our 30s, kind of the same way, but then life started catching up. You know, if you've got kids or family, you probably, right, started your family in your early to mid 30s. You got young kids, you got a home, a career, you got a lot of things on your plate, and being in shape is not a priority if you're in that stage of life, right? If you're single, this is different. If you're single, you in your 30s, you should be. I don't even know why you would be having this conversation, but right. But if you're married with a family, you got different priorities in your 30s, and it's, that's not one of them. But coming into your 40s, kids have gotten a little bit older. You're more established in your career. You can be a little bit more self-focused now, right? Kids may be able to take care of themselves for a little while. They may be in the teenage years and everything like that, right? You and your wife been married for a while, or maybe you've been single, I don't know, but you ought to be able to put more time into your self-care, right? And then you jump back into exercise like you did when you were 20, or dieting like you did when you were 20, thinking you can just eat whatever you want and do a few push-ups and it'll be fine. And it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't anymore. I mean, so what does it take? Okay, so we got the discipline now. We've got the awareness. We've got the information. We just have to find diets that work for us and stick with it. You can't crash diet anymore. That's not going to work. You can't say, well, I want to lose 20 pounds so I can go to the beach in 2 months. That's not going to work at this stage anymore. You might lose 20 pounds and go to the beach, but when you get back in 4 or 5 months, you've gained that 20 pounds back plus 10. So what purpose? What have you solved? You haven't done anything. You're worse off. So find things that you can stick to for the long haul. Can you stick to low carb keto from now on? If you try a diet for a month, you got to think, you give it a month, sure, but you got to think to yourself, can I do this until I die? If the answer is no, you need to move on. Move on. Because if you can stick to it, if you can stick to a diet for 8 months to a year, there's nothing to say that you can't stick to it for the rest of your life. And that's kind of where I am right now. I'm in that 8 to 9 month range with low calorie restriction. And if you're like me, right? I was about 210 to 215. My body kind of played around in that 210 to 215 range. And now I'm playing in that 180 to 185 range, closer to 180 right now. This morning I was literally 180. So how did I lose that weight? Like, we're talking about 30 pounds. How did I lose 30 pounds starting 8-9 months ago and keep it off to this point? Realizing that I found something that I can stick with this low calories. I've got more range of foods I can eat, I can enjoy, not just carb-free or sugar-free foods. I can eat anything I want within a calorie range. And I can also tweak it by how much I work out today, how much I run today. I love cardio too, so running, weight training, right? You can tweak your caloric intake and using intermittent fasting as a tool. If I eat too much tonight, right? If I'm trying to stay in that 2,400 calorie range and I blow it out and I've eaten around 3,000 calories today, so I've got a 600 calorie surplus, guess what I'll be doing tomorrow? I will be intermittent fasting and probably doing fasted cardio tomorrow morning to try to help negate some of this. Realizing that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. The journey. When you win a fight, right? Let's say I used to do amateur boxing. Let's just say you're an amateur boxer. You do jiu-jitsu. I don't know what it is, but you're getting ready for this match you got coming up in 3 months. And you're training, you're working your ass off to get in the best shape, to give yourself the best chances of winning this fight. And you go to that match and you're ready, you prepared, and you win the fight. When you're thinking about the fight, right? When you're thinking about, when you're looking at that prize and thinking about, I earned this. This is great. I worked so hard for this. You're not thinking about where you are sitting here holding the prize. You're thinking about every damn thing it took for you to get here. That's the journey. And that's the important part. Prioritize the journey. So when you're on this mission or whatever, right? You're wanting to shed weight. You wanting to get lean. You wanting to get your 30-year-old, 28-year-old physique back. You want to be sub 15% body fat and you're in your early mid 40s and you think it's impossible. It's possible. But it's not going to happen next month. It's not going to happen in 2 or 3 months. If you got 40, 50 pounds to lose, be happy with losing 5 pounds a month. Be happy with losing small amounts of weight per month, but you can stick with that diet over a longer period of time, and you look up in 10, 12 months, and you've lost 30, 40 pounds. You're almost there. And the thing about the journey is, once you get to the destination, right now, I'm chilling. The destination is way easier, right? It's way easier to maintain. All you're doing now, when you get to that point, is just maintaining. I'm just kind of chilling. I'm doing the things that I did during the journey to help me maintain where I am now. You're not cutting calories forever and ever and ever, right? You're not starving yourself 2,200, 2,300 calories a day for the rest of your life. No. You're doing it till you get to a weight range you want to be in. For me, that's 180 to 185. And now I can say, well, I can eat around 2,600 calories a day, and I'm good with that. And some of the things I did during the journey, when I go over 2,600 calories, roughly, I don't count them to the calorie, I'm in a range. But when I get somewhere over that mark and I know it, I know that intermittent fasting works tomorrow. I know I can take a run, I can burn that off. And I don't have to limit myself by not eating. I love sweets, right? The things I've cut has been like calorie dense, like fat. I've cut out a lot of fat. Other than that, carbs, not the villain. In my opinion, game on. Give me the carbs, okay? And that's just what's worked for me. So I just want to share things because I know, right? Being in your 40s and being lean is very rare. Hell, being in your 20s, 30s even is rare. There's a small percentage of men out there that have a lean physique, sub 15%. I think anything under 15% or less, you're lean, right? And I'm probably 10%. I'm probably in that 10% range right now. I'm pretty where I want to be. That is very rare for a 40-something-year-old man. So there are some external reasons, right, to do this. You're a rarity. You're a rarity. Just think about your friends. Look at your college classmates, your high school classmates. Look at them. Just look out in the world, in the workplace. How many men in your age range look like that? 1 out of 10 at best, right? So you be that guy in your 40s, and you can if you really want to. And I think now is the time you can start prioritizing, especially if you're single. If you're in your 40s and you're single, man, you got no reason not to. You got no reason not to. I hated I waited this long to do it, but I'm glad to be happy to be where I am now. And I just want to share it with you. And I want to start doing this more, just sharing with you how I managed to get my weight down and how I'm managing to keep it off. And this is not me preaching to anybody. This is for me too, because now that I've gotten where I want to be, I've got to maintain it. So this is more for me too, to help me along the way. And I hope it helps somebody else. I'm Darius. Thanks for watching.